Hello, welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we're covering the Dutch M93 Alice Style Combat Vest. Now, one of the first things you're going to notice about this in layout looks a lot like the US LBV 88, but there's some significant differences, so let's go over them. Okay, on the left we have the Dutch M93, on the right we have the US LBV 88 vest. Let's go over the features and the differences. Okay, the first immediate thing that jumps out to you, the Dutch vest is in DPM, whereas the US vest is in M81 Woodland. The vast majority of US LBV 88s will be in Woodland pattern. There are a few in OD, but those are rare and far between, and most of the ones you find now are foreign reproductions. So if you find a US LBV 88 in Woodland M81 camouflage, that is probably an authentic vest. The next difference you will notice, the US LBV 88 on the right has magazine pouches permanently affixed to it. And this is so you can carry 6 M4, M16 style magazines. The Dutch vest on the right doesn't have that. What it has is rows of webbing that are Alice compatible. That's right, it's Alice compatible, it's not Molly compatible. It looks kind of Molly-ish, but it's definitely not. And there's nothing wrong with that. Alice is a good system. Molly is probably objectively better, but Alice is still good. It's stood the test of time, and it will continue to stand the test of time as a good system. What this vest allows you to do, though, compared to the US vest, is configure it any way you want by adding the pouches that you want. Over on the US vest, you see the magazine pouches are permanently affixed in their positions. They're slanted. The outer pouches hold 2 magazines each. The inner pouch only holds 1. So you've got 4 magazine pouches that you can only hold 6 mags. You also on the US vest have 2 pouches here. They're grenade pouches. We don't always carry grenades. They can be used for other things such as carrying your compass or other small items, but those 2 are permanently affixed in that position. That's where those pouches are going to be mounted. Nothing you can do about it. Over here on the Dutch vest, because you have these rows of webbing that are spaced just perfectly for the Alice clips, you can put on whatever type of pouches you want. You want to configure this vest to have all your ammo on one side, so you put on some USGI ammo pouches, all your ammo's on one side, and you can put a utility pouch, grenade pouches, whatever you want on the other side, for example. The other thing is this vest is very easy to configure for being, say, a saw gunner, where you've got to carry the big bulky saw pouches, or you got to carry the 100-round assault packs if you're the machine gunner on the 240 or the 60. The next difference between the vests are right here. On the US vest, you have all these loops for attaching your cartridge belt around the vest so you can hang extra pouches or other gear off of. The Dutch vest, the belt is integrated into the design, so there is no separate attachment points for another belt. It's a Fastech style buckle. It's more the European pattern where it doesn't have the middle thing in it, so it's just the 2 outer prongs. And you have 2 cinch straps in the middle, just like you do on the US vest, placed in roughly about the same place. Now you'll notice the US vest here, the material is a mesh that the pouches are attached to. This material is thicker. It's very heavy canvas type material. It's double layered thick, and so it's not going to breathe as well in hot climates. On the other hand, when you're in a cooler climate, you're probably going to appreciate that little bit extra warmth helping you out there. As we move up the vest, both have adjustable shoulder straps. The Dutch vest here has plastic tabs that work on friction. The US has the same kind of tab, but it's metal instead of plastic. Over on the US vest, you have a little bit of webbing right here that also allows Alice type gear like a compass or a first aid pouch to be mounted. You have the same strips over here on the Dutch vest. On the US vest, you do have this little keeper strap that you can use to control your communication cord, your hydration system tube, or for its intended purpose, which was for keeping the miles system attached to the vest. Over on the Dutch vest, that's not there. At the top of the pads on the Dutch vest, you do have Fastech type buckles for attaching extra gear. You do not have that on the US vest. You do have padding on the Dutch vest, but it is significantly less thick and less comfortable than the US padding. But that being said, it's more than adequate for the job. going to the vest internals, you can see that the US mesh system is more prominent than, say, the Dutch system, which is clearly 2 layers of material sandwiched together. You'll also notice on the US vest on the right, the back panel is just mesh, allow for breathability. The Dutch panel over here on the left, it's a bigger panel, probably twice as high as the US panel, and it has padding in it. A pretty nice amount of padding too, so things riding against your back will probably feel a little more comfortable. That being said, it's not going to breathe very well at all. Alright, flipping the vests over and starting at the top. Both have a layer of webbing across the shoulders, and that allows the attachment of more gear. They both have slots sewn in, and it's not MOLLE compatible. It is Alice compatible on both vests. Now, the cool thing about these slots, this was clearly intended for a small radio pouch, something like PRC 68, 126, or 128, and it can attach right back there. You can reach back, grab your antenna, pull it down, put it back up, whatever you need to do. It's a pretty good mounting spot, and that's probably what the intention of was in both vests. Both vests have the adjustable lengths for the back, and the Dutch still has the plastic buckles, the US going with the metal buckles. The H-harness straps connect to a back panel. The Dutch here is a padded panel, as mentioned earlier. It has a piece of webbing on the back for attaching, say, a butt pack or a medical pack or something like that. The US has the same thing. Also, it has a couple D-rings for tying things on. In my experience, when using a US style butt pack with it, you do have to tie off the rings on the butt pack to the rings on the LBV. The Dutch one doesn't give you that option, so if you put a US style butt pack on this Dutch one, it's going to ride low. The adjustment for girth on both vests are the same. You have strings right here with a type of cord lock on it. The Dutch cord lock is a ball and detent style, where the US one is a friction lock that's controlled right here by locking down against the paracord laces. Both vests will essentially do the same thing. Both vests will adjust their girth the same way, and I would say with both vests, once you get your girth set, don't trust these cord locks. They will shift over time under load. Go ahead, get it set to where you want, lock it in with the cord lock, and then knot it down. Once you know it's the way you want, knot it down. Knots won't shift, cord locks do. This is by no means how I'll finally configure this vest, but this is an example of the adaptability of it. I put the magazine pouches here on the upper level of webbing and the canteens on the lower level, just for example, and I've attached a butt pack in the back. So this was basically MOLLE before there was MOLLE. It's not as versatile as MOLLE, but it's pretty close. If you have a lot of Alice gear you like to use, this is definitely a good vest that can allow you a pretty broad range of configurations. Also, it's relatively inexpensive. This particular vest I got from Vrastaleka, and it was $11 US plus $9 shipping. So there you go, you know, a little over 20 bucks, and I had a pretty functional vest. Considering if you had to get an LBV 88 right now on the US market, you're going to pay in the high 20s, plus you still have to get a web belt to go with it. So it's not a bad deal. Not as breathable as the LBV 88, more versatile than the LBV 88, so there are some trade-offs you have to consider. We'd like to thank you for tuning into this edition of Pegasus Test. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and tune in for future gear reviews.